I dey beg una make una watch this video, no skip am. I think say for Igbo land, for traditional wedding, if a woman bring drink for your husband, he go drink am, come put am money, they dance, make they go bless them.
When people talk about the Igbo traditional marriage ceremony today, many imagine a quick ceremony, envelopes of money, and few photographs for social media. But in places like Ubuluku, marriage ceremonies was never just an event. It was a process, a journey, a carefully structured path that tested character, family background, respect, patience, and community acceptance. That is why we say, Ogobu Juju, Olushe Akbarewa. In Ubuluku, a community in Anyocha South local government area of Delta State, marriage is not rushed. It is not a secret, and it is never just between two people. It is between two lineages, two families, and two communities. It involves parents, relations, neighbors, and even ancestral deities, and the entire community itself. Over the years, the institution of marriage in Ubuluku community and other parts of Enuani has evolved. There was a time when bride price was paid in kind. Then came cowries, and today it is paid in modern currency. But beyond money, the procedures themselves have also evolved with time, while some are still preserved with deep cultural meanings. As of today, traditional marriage in Ubuluku follows 7 clearly identified stages. Each stage serves a purpose, and none is ignored, none is accidental, and none is considered inconsequential. Let's walk through them step by step. The first stage, which is stage 1, is wooing, which we call Ichowunye. The journey of Ichowunye begins with love, courtship sometimes, and then consent. This consent comes from two families. A man first woos the woman he intends to marry and wins her approval. In many cases, they may already have been in love for some time and have now decided to become partners for life. Once this decision is made, the man informs his parents and guardians as well as his friends. It is now the duty of the parents to do what is called due diligence, asking questions, finding out if these two are related consanguinely. If they are related in consanguinity by none less than 3 generations, they are not fit to marry. But if they are not related, then they are free to go into a final relationship. Kinship relationship in Ubuluku, especially those that are considered consanguinal, that is blood-related kinship relationship, prohibits that cousin to cousin can get married. So, the duty of the parents is to find out if in any way these two are related either by blood or by any other means. If they are related by none less than 3 different filial generations, they are allowed to marry. But if they are related, they are not allowed. In cases where they have passed 3 generations, they are allowed to do what is called ibupone. They are allowed to sever consanguineal relationship to allow a final relationship to take place. These steps that I highlighted earlier are very crucial. Why? Because parents and friends provide insight into the girl's family background and character. Through them, the man learns whether the girl or the woman he intends to marry is truly suitable for marriage. It is also usually at this stage that some men discover something very shocking and heartbreaking, that the woman they love is a blood relation and so is not fit to go into marriage with him. When that happens, although very heartbreaking, the relationship is immediately cancelled or called off. Sadly, this is also the stage where some men ignore wise counsel, rush into marriage, and later begin to experience serious hardship, what many describe as hellfire in the name of marriage. If after collective consideration there is nothing against the woman, the man proceeds to the next stage. This brings us to stage 2, called admiration drink. Manyi forceso. At this stage, the man comes with the following items: 1 keg of wine tapped from a standing palm tree, which is called manyenu or up wine. 2, 1 keg of wine tapped from a fallen palm tree, ozu or down wine, as some people like to call it. Then, these items are presented to the father of the girl. The message is simple but symbolic. The man says he brought the wine out of admiration for the way the father talks, walks, and carries himself. He is admiring the family of the bride. He praises the man's character, and then nothing more is said. The would-be father-in-law then invites his close relations and neighbors. They all share the drinks and make merry. The oldest man in the gathering pours libation and praise. He prays the following way: may whatever good quality you have found in this man be fruitful and multiply for you. Whatsoever has made you set eyes upon this family, may it continue. Everyone responds, Ise, meaning amen. Afterwards, kola nuts are presented, broken and shared before everyone disperses. This is called ojiluelno okuechene. An important rule applies here. There must always be advance notice before visiting an in-law, a would-be in-law, I should say in this instance. Failing to inform close relations, especially in urban settings, is considered an offense in the traditional setting. No man is allowed to enjoy his son-in-law's drinks alone. It is a communal system. Everybody lives as family. This brings us to stage 3, friendship drink, also known as manye shoy. The suitor returns to the family again. This time, he brings the following items: 1 keg of up wine known as manyenu, 1 keg of down wine known as ozu. Remember, if the suitor comes with ozu, ozu can be renamed to manyenu by better understanding with the family. But the suitor must state whether the drinks are either ozu or manyenu. He should never be seen to lie to his in-laws, because by the time they taste the drink and the wine he calls manyenu turns out to become ozu, he has established an atmosphere of distrust which will not favor him. As the processes unfold, if he has lied earlier, the lie will speak against him. This time, the family of the would-be suitor declare their intentions to befriend the would-be in-law. Once again, the relations and neighbors of the man are invited. Kola nuts are presented, drinks are shared, and everyone disperses again. Remember, this is a process, but at this point, no one has mentioned the girl, but everyone knows exactly who the marriage is about. Also, whenever kakanane, when we be amare. This brings us to stage 4, declaration of intention, manya ichonwunye. This is the turning point of the whole ceremony. The man visits for the 3rd time with drinks as usual. This time, he openly declares that he is seeking the hand of the daughter of the man in marriage. He may say it like a proverb. For instance, I have seen a beautiful flower in your compound. I will wish to pick a branch of this flower and plant in my own compound, so that when it grows, I may also have the same flower in my own family. If the father agrees, he invites his daughters and asks, which of them are you interested in? By the time the particular girl is known, she is asked, do you know these people? If she responds yes, she is also further asked, Should we accept their drinks going forward? If she says no, the process is halted. If she says yes, the process is continued. But it all depends on her decision in that very moment. If she accepts, a glass is filled with drink. The oldest man in the gathering, who is the priest, pours out libation and hands the glass to the girl and says, "Go and give this to your husband." She is asked to give the drink to the man who she loves among the visitors. Remember, this is done inside her father's house, not outside. So all these ceremonies are done indoors. When she hands the drink, the glass of wine, to her prospective husband, there is loud applause. He drinks from the wine, leaving a little of it, and gives to his wife. She must drink it to seal the agreement. Not what we see these days, when this drink is presented to a man and he stylishly pours it on the ground. It simply means there is no oath. The marriage is not oathed. There is no marital blessing. In fact, there is no marriage, because this ceremony I just described is the marriage itself. It is the moment where the bride and the groom take their traditional vows and vow an oath of loyalty to each other traditionally. So when this stage is distorted, is truncated by the act of pouring away the drink on the ground, such marriage is not assumed to have happened traditionally. At this point, the drinks are then shared, the kola nuts are served. But then, the duty now lies on the father to list the items. And then, the father begins to list the male relations who must receive drinks from the would-be in-law. This brings us to stage 5, drinks for close relations, called Ibumanya. The groom now begins visiting the male relations who must receive tubers of yam or cash. Yakwa Ibumanya. He will have to carry drinks to all these male in-laws, or they will have to be listed while he brings out the amount that is stipulated to serve for their drink, and it is sent to them. If there are 7 men, and for instance the amount for their drink is 1,000 naira, the amount of 7,000 naira is set aside and taken to them individually in their houses. This is called Ibumanya. The groom now begins visiting the listed male relations with drinks, or, as I said earlier, he can do them all in one instance. The female relations will receive yam or money as well, but the groom visits these relations that are listed out to him. If the parents of the bride do not live at home, that is, they are not in the village setting, the groom must also take the drinks to the hometown. Otherwise, the father risks trouble later, or the children, when later on they come for their father's funeral. Many aspects of this stage can be settled with cash, especially for female relations, as I said earlier. After completing stage 5 successfully, the groom's family visit again with drinks to request the bride price. This is the most important aspect of the ceremony. The visit is known as Ekogele. At this point, a male relative of the bride's family is appointed as Onyendu. He becomes the go-between person between the family of the girl and the family of the groom. Official guide he is until all rites are completed. If there are questions to be asked, he is the person to be asked the question. If there are things to be negotiated, he will be the person to make that negotiation. If there are demands to be made, if there are questions to be asked, anything at all, he is the go-between person. He is called Onyendu. In Ubuluku, the bride price is strictly fixed.